Bueno, ya viste en un video anterior las repercusiones de lo que ha sido el derbi madrileño, Atlético de Madrid 5, Real Madrid 2 en la prensa española, y ahora nos vamos hasta la prensa británica, hasta la prensa anglosajona, porque se rinden a este gran jugador, al gran jugador argentino Julián Álvarez, el mejor jugador de la Liga Española en estos momentos, en mi opinión. Y por supuesto está haciendo una gran temporada, ya se soltó con todo. Y bueno, en este video vas a conocer un poco cómo la prensa británica se rinde al jugador nacido en Córdoba. Y bueno, el mundo del fútbol todavía habla del último derbi madrileño. Real Madrid llegaba con puntaje perfecto en la temporada, pero se fue del Metropolitano con una goleada dolorosa y sobre todo con la sensación de haber sido superado en todos los aspectos. La prensa británica no tardó en reaccionar. Lo de Julián Álvarez y Sorloth fue una auténtica pesadilla para la defensa blanca. Hombres contra niños. El Athletic fue fantástico. El Real Madrid estuvo espantoso, lo resumió un comentarista inglés. Y es que desde los primeros minutos quedó claro que la saga madridista no podía con los centros al área ni con la potencia física de los atacantes rojiblancos. Nadie de la defensa blanca logró contener el ataque rojiblanco.
So Real Madrid's first drop points of the season. Barcelona in action tomorrow with a chance to go first. Meanwhile, for Atletico Madrid, that victory lifts them up to fourth in the table after what was a stuttering start to the season. This was absolute men against boys. Atleti were fantastic. Real Madrid was shocking.
Well, we could talk about the defence and all those little pieces there from the guys on site. They did. And for those that saw this game, the first 45 minutes in particular, any cross into the box, and there was a lot of them, Real Madrid were at sixes and sevens. I mean, Huijsen he could not handle Sorloth. Even Militao, with his experience before he went off, he could not handle the ball into the box. So that was a huge worry for them. I think a lot of this is on Alonso as well.
Y el gran foco de la prensa británica estuvo en Julián Álvarez, campeón del mundo que mostró todo su repertorio, movilidad, inteligencia, técnica y definición. Dime en qué posición nos puede jugar Julián, decía un analista británico, por la derecha, por la izquierda, de 9 o detrás del punta. Lo hace todo, solo le falta altura, pero de lo demás va sobrado. Bueno, que solo le falta altura, bueno, estamos hablando que, por ejemplo, Messi, el mejor del mundo, no tiene altura. Y bueno, para jugar al fútbol yo creo que no es necesario tener mucha altura. Y bueno, Julián Álvarez lo está demostrando. Así que escuchamos un poquito cómo lo expresaban los relatores británicos.
You know, we sat here a couple of weeks ago, or 10 days ago, you know, what's going to happen to them, you know, this big gap. They've had a monumental week because they were losing 2-1 to Vallecano late on, and they dug that one out big time, and they were brilliant today. I mean, I heard Macker in the commentary at 4-2 going, why is he going super defensive? Because they could score 5 and they could score 6, but that is their DNA. And the boys were right. They could have scored 6, 7 or 8 today against this Real Madrid side. So this was the humongous kick in the backside that maybe Xabi Alonso needed for some of his players. But maybe also one or two of his players looking at Alonso as well and going, okay, so I'm delivering for you, but when the big game comes, you're going back to the so-called tried and trusted, even when they're not fit. So
Real Madrid simply were not able to, and it allowed Atleti, feeding off the emotion of their fans, feeding off the emotion of the derby, to just go on and run riot here. And in all honesty, Real Madrid had simply no answer for Sorloth and Julian Alvarez.
That being said, though, the back line, we can't get away from the fact that if he'd have got all those other areas correct, it may have been different, but probably wouldn't, because Sorloth, his physicality, he could have had a couple more. Alvarez is just...
Yeah, I was going to say a word on Alvarez. Talk about proper player.
Yeah, I mean, tell me where his best position is on that the front line. You put him in the right, you put him in the left, you put him through the middle, you put him behind. He's got it all. The only thing he doesn't have is that physicality of the height, but they have others that can do that. And his set pieces are brilliant. His running ability is brilliant. He's technically a very good player, and he's a superb finisher in the final third in terms of he's very efficient. He's very efficient when he's in those areas where it's not a one-on-one, where it's not a guaranteed It's not an easy chance. It's a difficult chance, and more often than not, he hits the target, makes the goalkeeper make a save. Those kind of players are the quality players because, you know, they're not wasteful, and Julian Alvarez is certainly not a wasteful player.
El contraste con el Real Madrid fue brutal. Xabi Alonso, que había sido elogiado por su inicio perfecto, quedó en entredicho por sus decisiones tácticas. Apostó por Jude Bellingham, recién recuperado y sin ritmo, en lugar de dar continuidad a un joven que venía en gran forma. Hablamos de Mastantuono. Resultado, un medio campo desbordado y una defensa sin respuestas. El Madrid volvió a mostrar el mismo problema que el año pasado. Cuando están mal, los pasan por encima en el medio. Ni Valverde ni Güler lograron equilibrar un sector que fue dominado por la intensidad del Atlético. Y si algo terminó de hundir al equipo blanco fue la comparación de personalidades. Mientras los jóvenes del Atlético jugaron el partido de su vida, en el Madrid varios futbolistas parecían desconectados del significado de un derbi. Esperaban un partido fácil y se encontraron con un huracán. Por supuesto, como dije, Julián Álvarez se llevó todos los elogios. Su capacidad para presionar, generar juego y definir con frialdad fue determinante. No es un jugador derrochador. Cada ocasión la convierte en peligro real, dijo el periodista británico. La sensación fue unánime. Julián Álvarez junto a Sorloth destrozaron al Real Madrid.
A bad day all round on the field and off the field for Real Madrid.
When Real Madrid were bad last season, they were overrun in midfield. And we saw that yet again today. We saw that in the Marseille game, of course, where they were lucky to get that victory. It's a real concern that Xabi Alonso is looking to address, but you just look at the personnel that he has. Is it a case that he hasn't got the players to be able to do it? Is he not employing them in the right positions? Is this a one-off, or is this a concern?
Listen, without question, he has the players to do it. If you look at the talent of Bellingham, who we spoke about all of last season, Güler, Mastantuono, who's come on and been simply outstanding. Freddy Valverde continues to be one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the game today. So it's not a question of whether they have the players or not. It's Luis Garcia spoke about personality and more directly about Atletico's personality. And I think that's where this game was both won and lost. Real Madrid, for me, their players looked as though, like, this is a Madrid derby and this is not what we were expecting. We expected a far easier time of this. And in fairness, I thought between Huijsen and Carreras on the left-hand side,
Carreras had a shocker.
They were decidedly poor on the day. But again, two young players, their first Madrid derby, so you want to cut some slack. On the other side, the right-hand side between Militao and Carvajal, you've got all the experience, all the know-how. And then in midfield, I thought once Real Madrid took the lead, I expected them to be able to control the game a whole lot more. And that's where I thought they lacked personality, probably missed Mastantuono. Alongside Arda Güler, just to get control of the ball, to control the game, to take some of the tempo out of it. But there was nobody there to do that. Real Madrid simply were not able to, and it allowed Atleti, feeding off the emotion of their fans, feeding off the emotion of the derby, to just go on and run riot here. And in all honesty, Real Madrid had simply no answer for Sorloth and Julian Alvarez. And you have to say that I thought as a performance, it's not what I was expecting, and quite clearly not a game they were expecting.
He's had a lot of praise, Xabi Alonso, thus far. I mean, they've not played brilliantly, but they were pitch perfect into this point in terms of points. Not only do I think his team selection was wrong, particularly with the Bellingham introduction at the start, he then takes Arda Güler off for Mastantuono on 59 minutes. Not Tchouaméni, not Valverde, not Bellingham. Bellingham didn't come off till 70, hasn't played any football. He lasts 70 minutes. Güler comes off, who played the pass, I believe it was him that played the pass for Mbappe, and he scored a brilliant goal. Yes, he gave a penalty away, but you know that doesn't take away from his offensive capabilities. And yet, he takes him off for Mastantuono coming up. That was another one. I was watching the game thinking, why is he coming off? It's almost like he was the easy one to take off. I don't want to take any of those other big experience. And he's been showing this far, it would seem, Xabi Alonso, that he hasn't been frightened to make big decisions, but it was almost like
Is it easier to make big decisions against games you know you're going to win? Like, it's all right to rest
Yeah.
Vinicius Junior against
Make a statement against Oviedo.
Exactly.
Make a statement in this game.
Exactly. This is where you really found out as a coach, and at the certainly in this evidence
because bigger players never like to come off, but they certainly don't like to come off in the big games.
Yes.
The game that everybody's watching. The game that you really need to win. The game where the pressure's on. When you go out for dinner tonight in Madrid and you lose, they're on your case. The punters are on you. These massive games. And maybe that came into his thought process.
Para el Atlético de Madrid la victoria fue mucho más que 3 puntos, fue una declaración de personalidad, de carácter y de ambición. Para el Real Madrid, en cambio, quedó un duro recordatorio de que los nombres no bastan si no hay intensidad. La prensa británica lo resumió en una sola idea: este Atleti fue el mejor en mucho tiempo, y Julián Álvarez, su bandera ofensiva, firmó una actuación que Madrid no olvidará.